Geography. Russia is the largest country in the world. It occupies one-tenth of all the land on Earth. It spans 11 time zones across two continents, Europe and Asia, and has coast on three oceans, Atlantic, Pacific, and Arctic. The Russian landscape varies from desert to frozen coastline, tall mountains to giant marshes. It also includes about 100,000 rivers, some of the longest and most powerful in the world. It also has many lakes, including Europe's two largest, Ladoga and Onega, and in Siberia, Lake Baikal. All of these territories, cities, and regions are integrated into one of seven federal districts: Northwest, Central, Volga, South, Ural, Siberia, and Far East. Demographics. The inhabitants of Russia are quite diverse. Most are ethnic Russians, but there are more than 120 other ethnic groups present, speaking more than 100 languages and following disparate religious and cultural traditions. Most of the Russian population is concentrated in the European portion of the country, especially in the fertile region surrounding Moscow, the capital. Moscow and St. Petersburg are the most important cultural and financial centers. Ethnic groups. Russia has a diversity of ethnic groups. 80.9% of the population are ethnic Russians. This means they are European ethnic groups of Slavic, Germanic, Finnic, Greek, and others, and 19.1% of other ethnicities. From this percentage, 3.9% are Tatars, 1.4% Ukrainians, 1.1% Bashkirs, 1% Chuvashes, 11.7% others, and unspecified. Russia has 36 official languages, Russian included, because of the ethnic diversity.
Economy. It is the fifth largest national economy in Europe. Russia contains over 30% of the world's natural resources, has an abundance of oil, natural gas, and precious metals, which make up a major share of Russia's exports. It has the world's largest proven natural gas reserves, and it is the largest exporter of natural gas. It is also the second largest exporter of petroleum. The main economic activities are agriculture, forestry, fishing, machine building, resources, and power. Family configuration. Russian families often include several generations. Generally are the grandparents, children, and grandchildren. This is connected not only with Russian traditions, but also with the complexity of the acquisition of housing by young families. Due to the economic part, it can be difficult to the new generations to own a house or start investments by their own, so they still rely on the family. The power of the family is often owned by the grandparents. Several generations of the family are dependent on each other, not only spiritually but also materially and in the household. So as mentioned before, the current economic part plays a huge aspect in the family configuration. The loss of age-old national traditions and family rituals, including the ones related to the existing religions in Russia, are observed. Staying big family is not only because of tradition now, but also for economic reasons. Education. The federal government has responsibility for designing and distributing textbooks, licensing teachers, and setting the requirements for instruction in the Russian language. Children aged 3 to 6 attend kindergarten. Schooling is compulsory for 9 years. It starts from age 7, in some areas from 6, and leads to a basic general education certificate. An additional 2 or 3 years of schooling are required for the secondary level certificate, and some Russian students continue their education past this level. Admission to an institute of higher education is selective and highly competitive. First degree courses usually take 5 years. Higher education is conducted almost entirely in Russian, although there are a few institutions, mainly in the minority republics, where the local language is also used.
Political system. The polity type is a federal semi-presidential republic. They have one constitution and three powers: legislative, executive, and judicial. The president of the Russian Federation, actually Vladimir Putin, is the head of state. He represents the Russian Federation within the country and in international relations, and is the supreme commander-in-chief of the armed forces of the Russian Federation. They also have a prime minister, today Mikhail Mishustin. He is the head of the government and looks after most of the national aspects. He is appointed by the president and the State Duma. The legislative power has two houses of the Federal Assembly of the Russian Federation: the Federation Council, that is the upper house, and the State Duma, that is the lower house. Racism. Racism is more seen in small towns or cities that are not so big as Moscow or St. Petersburg. People get discriminated because of physical traits, mostly because of skin color, ethnicity, ethnic groups that are not Slavs, even if they are from Russia, nationality, if people are African, Latin, Asian, mostly Japanese or Chinese, or from Middle East and former Soviet republics, also because of being half-blood or mestizo, and racism is hushed up in Russia. It's mostly between civilians, the police is not involved, and it's important to say that racism in Russia is not as brutal and violent as in the US.
Gender roles. Russians do not refer to women as the weaker sex, but instead women are the prettier sex. Men generally act in a way that would be described as gentlemanlike. Many of the gender roles in Russia come down to ideas of love and marriage. Russian women devote their efforts to finding a husband and then caring for their children. Even when the female symbol is not devalued, certain traits of supremacy towards men can be observed. Women have the same opportunity to study and work as men. However, by tradition, they are willing to leave this to take care of their families. As you can see from the table, in 2011, gender roles issues were not making as much noise, but according to UNESCO, recent feminist movements affected the results of the survey, and aspects such as women earning more money than men became again mentioned as negative. It is like going back a few steps. This is not everyone, but there is this concern about gender roles thoughts. For the important holiday, we have Victory Day. Victory Day is celebrated on May 9. It is a holiday that commemorates the surrender of the Nazi Germany in 1945. The day is typically marked with parades. The military parade on Red Square is the best known. Most businesses stay closed, so many people attend the military parade and watch the fireworks at night. The veterans wear their medals as they go to the parade or an event organized by a local veterans organization. Even though there are few now, their families continue with the tradition. Another tradition is to give flowers, usually red carnations, to veterans on the street and to lay wreaths at the war memorial sites. Mass processions and gatherings at monuments are activities that also may occur during this day. In the 10th century, Prince Vladimir I, who was converted by missionaries from Byzantium, adopted Christianity as the official religion for Russia. After the communists took power in 1970, religious institutions suffered. The church was forced to forfeit most of its property, and many monks were evicted from the monasteries. The subsequent dissolution of the Soviet Union made religious freedom a reality, and revealed that large sections of the population had continued to practice a variety of faiths. Russian nationalists who emerged beginning in the 90s identified the Russian Orthodox Church as a major element of Russian culture. As you can see in the chart, Muslims constitute Russia's second largest religious group. This is only overcome by the non-religious groups. In the 1930s, Stalin established the Jewish Autonomous Region in the Soviet Far East as a Jewish province.
Interesting facts. 1. Russia is member of the BRICS: Brazil, Russia, India, China, South Africa, the five major emerging economies. 2. Many empires and military leaders such as Romans, Mongols, Napoleon, Hitler, and even the USSR wanted to conquer the Russian territory because according to the geopolitical theory of the heartland by John Mackinder, who says that whoever controls this world area will conquer the world. 3. Although they understand English, Russian people they prefer to talk to a foreigner in French or even Spanish. 4. In some places, it is normal to have foxes, wolf dogs, wolves, or even bears as pets. Five. On winter, it is very common to cross the frozen sea between Finland and Russia by dog sledding. 6. Peterhof Palace is more luxurious than the Palace of Versailles. 7. Vladimir Putin was member and director of the KGB, the secret police force and main security agency which rivaled with the CIA before becoming president. 8. Moscow and St. Petersburg are among the most picturesque cities in the world. 9. Moscow's subway was built as an underground palace for the common people, but also as a facade to hide the war bunkers behind its walls. 10. Moscow and St. Petersburg are built in huge dimensions in order to serve as military bases if a Third World War is coming.